Hi, I'm Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek, where we discuss theology and apologetics and sometimes politics from a charismatic perspective. Well, as we all know, the election is just a few days away, so I decided to offer my thoughts in a video. This will be the 13th presidential election held since I was old enough to vote. I remember Gerald Ford's gaffe in his debate with Jimmy Carter in 1976, saying that Poland didn't consider themselves under Soviet occupation. I remember Reagan's line, "There you go again," in his debate with Jimmy Carter, after Carter repeatedly misrepresented his positions on the issues. Then there was Reagan's quip about Mondale's youth and inexperience in their debate in 1984. In 1988, Michael Dukakis blew his chances against George Bush Sr. when he was convinced to take a ride in a tank for a photo op. In 1992, Clinton came across as a younger, more in-touch candidate than Bush when he said, "I feel your pain." In 1996, the Republicans decided for some strange reason to run a 73-year-old Bob Dole against a 50-year-old Bill Clinton. In 2000, Bush Jr. and Al Gore had their famous disputed election with the hanging chads and Supreme Court intervention. In 2004, John Kerry got swift-boated when his fellow veterans from Vietnam turned against him and his narrative of being a war hero. In 2008, we elected the first black president, even though Obama was biracial. In 2012, we didn't elect the first Mormon president when Obama defeated Romney. In 2016, Donald Trump shocked the world in the biggest upset in modern political history when he defeated Hillary Clinton. And then in 2020, Biden defeated Trump by getting nearly 12 million votes more than any presidential candidate in history without even campaigning. So here we are now in 2024 with former President Trump running against current Vice President Kamala Harris, who would be the first part black, part Indian woman president in history. The sense is that whoever wins this thing, the other side is going to protest, which is something we all need to be in prayer about. So who's going to win? Well, I'm not claiming to have any prophetic insight into this. I'm just going by my half a century of watching American politics. Based on the poll numbers and the way the Electoral College works, I'm going to predict that whoever wins the state of Pennsylvania is going to win the election. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes. The only states with more than that are New York, California, Texas, and Florida. As the swing state with the most votes up for grabs in a tight race, I think it all comes down to the Keystone State. In 2000, the great Tim Russert, NBC's top political analyst who hosted Meet the Press for years, famously said, "Florida, Florida, Florida," as that election approached. He knew that the race was very close, and whoever won Florida's 30 electoral votes would win the election. And he was right. Well, Florida is not considered a swing state anymore, but Pennsylvania is. This election might not be as close as the 2000 election, but I'm pretty sure that whoever wins Pennsylvania will be the next president. Okay, what you're looking at here is a map of the Electoral College vote count for the United States. The states in red are the states where Trump is expected to win comfortably. The states in blue are the ones where Kamala Harris is expected to win by a comfortable margin. You add the blue states up, she's got 225. You add the red states up, he's got 219. You need 270 to win. So the battle is taking place in these 7 swing states: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. This is where the battle's taking place. If Trump wins the states where he's currently ahead in the polls, that's Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, then he wins the election. He's got enough to put him over. But he's winning by a very narrow margin in Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. I think he's ahead by about a half a point in Nevada, about 1 point in North Carolina, and anywhere from a half a point to a point and a half in Pennsylvania. But if he wins these 4 and loses Pennsylvania, well, Nevada and Arizona, that's 17, and then 16, that's 33, and 16 is 49. You add 49 to 219, and it comes to 268. and he needs 270 to win. So if he wins these 4 but loses these 3 in the North, he loses. Kamala Harris will win if Trump doesn't win one of these 3 states in the North, unless something totally unexpected happens, like he wins New York or something, which isn't going to happen. But I'm just saying the most likely scenario is that it comes down to these 7 states, and he's going to have to win one of these states in the North. And he's currently trailing her in Michigan and Wisconsin, but he's ahead slightly in Pennsylvania. So he has to win Pennsylvania. Now, if he wins these states where he's ahead in the West and in the South, she has to win all 3 in the North: Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. If she loses one of those 3, she loses. So she needs to win Pennsylvania, and he needs to win Pennsylvania. That's why I say it all comes down to Pennsylvania. Whoever wins Pennsylvania, in my opinion, wins this election. The polls close in Pennsylvania at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And so that's when I'm going to start watching the results coming in. And it's very possible that within an hour or so, we'll have a good idea who's going to win Pennsylvania. And if Trump wins, in my opinion, it's over. If she wins, it's over. It all comes down to Pennsylvania, just like it all came down to Florida in in the year 2000. So that's my prediction. Whoever wins Pennsylvania will be the next president of the United States.
Democratic political strategist James Carville once said that Pennsylvania has Pittsburgh on one end and Pennsylvania on the other, with Alabama in the middle. What he meant was that there's a lot of conservative rural communities in Pennsylvania, so even though the big cities tend to vote Democrat, the rest of the state tends to go Republican. So that's why candidates have been spending a lot of time traveling through the state. At this point, just a few days away, Trump has a slight edge there in the polls. He won Pennsylvania in 2016 despite being behind in the polls. So you would assume that if he's ahead in the polls this time, he's in pretty good shape. But there are no guarantees in politics. My guess is that Trump is going to win by a narrow margin in Pennsylvania, and that will be enough to put him over the required 270 votes to win. I'd like to invite you all to join me for a watch party live stream with my buddies Marcus Curtis and Gabriel Bello. We'll begin about 7:30 Central Time. By that time, the results should be coming in for Georgia, which is one of the swing states. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and be blessed.